Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, wherever you're tuning in from. This is the BS Buddies podcast. I'm Joe, that's Ian, and am I the asshole? That's the question we are going to determine. Not for me, but for Reddit users. Yep, we're going back on Reddit today. We're going to read some stories about Am I the Asshole? And we're going to discuss them. Ian, how are you doing today?
I'm in a bit of a chuckle right now because I think it would have been really funny if you'd have just went, "Am I the asshole?" and then just stared into the camera and didn't say a word. No, I'm worn out after a long work week, but that's okay. I've had a good supper so far, and I'm relaxing right now. I took a shower. I feel a little bit better, so yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm
And
doing
now,
all right.
and now we're going to determine if people are awful or if they're just overthinking.
And now we're gonna read about some potential asshole.
Potentially.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyway? Yo.
Would you like to start or would you like me to start?
You know what? You start because you have piqued my curiosity with this angry at cancer one.
Okay, this one is Am I the asshole for being mad about my nephew beating cancer? Posted 8 hours ago by Numerous Mango 1919. And this is a long one, so buckle up. And here we go. My son recently discharged from a long hospital stay, 3 to 5 months. He was having emergency heart surgery due to ruptured aortic dissection, rare occurrence in children. They were actually kind of shocked when that, whatever. The surgery was 15 hours long because he was bleeding all night long and almost passed away. And the recovery was very tough. He got back-to-back infections, sepsis to sepsis shock, and other problems. Almost passed away again. Put him on ECMO and ventilator and stayed in the ICU from post-surgery day to 2 week before discharge. Oh boy. In another hand, one of my nephews recently kicked cancer's ass. We are so proud and grateful, even though it doesn't mean it's all over, but we are happy with this news. As info, my son is also battling cancer. It's been 4 years and he's not in remission yet. Not a sinky time. I think that's supposed to say not a single time, but they put a K in it for some
Not
reason.
a
That's
stinky
okay.
time.
And we probably would never. He's still on the battle. And here's where it goes. Last night we were out for dinner together. There was me, my son, my husband, and all my family members. They just arrived the night before from my home country. It is a holiday time for schoolers there, so that was our first dinner together. I brought up about my son just being discharged recently after facing a big battle. That's how I phrased it. They were so happy, and my son as well. He's still weak, in pain here and there, but he's overall stable, so he can be with us. Then, my sister suddenly said, and my nephew just beat cancer. And clapping her hands, my family turned away from my son so fast and congratulated them. I don't know. I'm happy for them, for my nephew, but I just sad. I can see my son forced to smile seeing them. It just hurts. I'm probably a bad person. It is not really about the attention. I don't know how to explain. I hope any of you understand. I was quiet through the dinner majority of the time. I barely smiled. My parents noticed and they seemed to not like my behavior. They know her too well, this person. They were talking about my nephew's cancer treatment in Singapore and their experience there. No one talked to my son. After dinner was over, my mom confronted me through text saying how can I have that kind of attitude? Why am I mad about my nephew beating cancer? I told her I wasn't. Apparently, I vomited my true feelings about the situation to her. She called me an asshole, and I just don't like seeing my family being happy. That's a statement to say to your daughter.
Ah,
And that I should be grateful at least my son isn't passed away. My sister blocked me, but my other siblings turned out to be on my side. am I the asshole?
Ooh, this is a very good moral dilemma one. Boy, oh boy. Well, what is your initial synopsis, Joe? What is your initial conclusion? Because I
So,
can kind of know where I want to go with it.
so I guess for me, it's like, yeah, it shouldn't be an attention seeking game. It seems like the one sister is kind of trying to play that game. It's like you just say that your son just got out of the hospital and with a 3 to 5 month battle in the hospital, almost losing his life multiple times and going through this horrendous thing. And then your
Right.
sister, it seems like, just chimed in and said, well, to one up you, uh, my son beat cancer, which is better, without saying it, better than what your son beat, while your
Yeah,
son
it's
still has cancer.
implied meaning. I think I'm going to say not the asshole. Because here's why. I think it is very much a normal human emotion to feel that. I wouldn't call it a resentment. I mean, it's you are willing to acknowledge the success of your sister and her son beating cancer. That's wonderful. That's great. But also knowing that your own child has gone through their own battle that has been very tough on them, and understanding that it's got to be difficult from your child's point of view to look at, oh, great, he he won and I'm still over here fighting, and to understand that your child probably is not having the best time of their life right now. I can see why you would maybe feel a little bit of like, yeah, that's, you're not exactly focused on the child beating the cancer. It's not that you're not happy for them. It's just you understand that your own progeny is having their own difficulties, and that's a completely valid emotion. I don't think it's really fair of the rest of the family to hold that against you. But then again, they also might not understand. So it might be one of those things that you just kind of have to be like, it's not my intention. This is just, we're going through this right now. And it's difficult.
I think it's a little extreme that the sister blocked her immediately after. It's like, I feel like the woman who posted this has every right to be upset. Like I said, it seems like it's the sister wanted to one up when I would assume the sister knows that her son is still battling. And it just
Right.
seems like she's definitely not the bad person. Like, of course, you're going to have human emotions. You're going to be mad that your sister. I think she's more mad that the way it was handled.
Yeah.
It's that's that's a bad situation. Like, I
And
agree
I don't
with you.
want to
The
put,
family shouldn't have reacted like that.
yeah, I don't like, and the other thing is that I don't want to put words in people's mouths. Maybe the sister meant it that way. Maybe the sister didn't mean it that way. Maybe this is just one of those situations where, like, if everybody took a step back and realized, hey, this situation is bigger than just myself or their self, then everyone would kind of come to an understanding. Because, I mean, you can definitely acknowledge and have gratefulness for somebody else's great outcome while also still feeling your own internal struggle with the thing that you have going on. I mean, that's normal. That's life. That's, of course, people react differently to different situations. And if you are under the stress of going through that, yeah, I can imagine that you might have a hard time picturing anything else than making it through what you're currently going through. So it's hard to say that the rest of her family was trying to be rude, but I can definitely say that they need to just like take a pause and think that like it's not just about how you feel about the matter. Everyone's got a hand in this.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say not the asshole though, because that's a natural feeling.
Yeah. Um. Yeah.
Enough of me
Just
rambling about that.
just miss. I think just some miscommunication, misunderstanding, but and hopefully the family can talk it out and sort it.
What's that old saying? The solution is often the simpler, the best solution is often the simplest one, or something along those lines. I forget what that
That
metaphor is
sounds right.
called. But
But
don't overthink it. I would say don't overthink it. Take a step back. There's no need to get this in depth over it. You've both been through a lot. There's no reason to be at each other's throats over this, but that requires both parties, committing. Anyways,
anyways, Ian, what is yours? Next up.
moving on. Wow, what a heavy open to that one, huh? So this one, here we go. We got some July 4th shenanigans that happened that a bunch of fellas committed that probably should not have. So am I the asshole for defending my friend when she mom shamed at a 4th of July party? So me and my friend, two women here, as it says, ages 23, 25. They went to a 4th of July party of a woman that she knows from work. I was talking about how I had no fourth plans, and she invited me and told me I could bring someone. So she says she decided to bring her friend. And so her and her friend go to this party and have a really good time until about 9 p.m. And she says it was a mixed crowd, young singles, and I hit the wrong button and it went back. Why did it do that? Go forward. What are we doing? Mouse, stop acting up on me. We're waiting for it to load right now. That's what we're doing.
I wonder if I can
Here we
find
go.
it. Okay.
We're back. We're back. We've got it. Anyways, so mixed crowd, young singles and families. There was this group of young guys that had been there and they'd been drinking all night long. So, oh boy, here we go. Uh, amongst other substances. Oh boy.
Oh,
So they
that's
were
great.
they were the ones that started lighting off the fireworks. There were a bunch of kids playing in the yard as these very drunk guys were lighting off fireworks. And she says she's not talking about sparkling fountains or smoke bombs. They were lighting off mortars. So, like
Big
what you
boom.
saw on my video. Boom, bang.
Check out Ian's video on his main channel, link in description.
These guys, oops, so it says, me and my friend are kind of eyeing each other uncomfortably as they were getting increasingly concerned for the safety of the children. Yes, as somebody who was once a young man and could probably still be considered a young man by many to this day, yeah, that's a valid concern. I don't do that anymore. I'm going to make that very clear. I've learned my lesson. I'm not dumb. I mean, I am, but they started to light off the tube and it tips over. So the tube tips over, and as one of the morons was running away from it, he accidentally kicks it over and it shoots straight into the yard where the kids are playing. I'm guessing it must have went like off to the side or something because it doesn't say anyone was hurt. And the kids run, obviously terrified. And so her and her friends start scooping up the kids in their arms and running them into the house as the mortar's going off and as the idiots are resetting it back up. And she says the kids are crying at this point. My friend and I are in the house with them, and one of the kids wants to go outside to his mom. And her friend says, no, wait here. It's dangerous out there. I'll go get your mom for you. And so she goes to retrieve the kid's mom. And the kid's mom walks in from outside holding apparently an infant with no ear protection on, and then scolds my friend for telling her kid that he can't go outside anymore. She says that my friend is mom shaming and that the kid is fine to go back outside while the group continues to light off fireworks. My friend kind of drops it and says under her breath, interesting choice. Your friend's a comedian. The mom hears this and gets super upset, stating that my friend doesn't have kids and should keep her opinions to herself. That's when I get fed up and say something along the lines of, your kids almost just got exploded by a mortar. That's not really a matter of opinion, that's a matter of safety. After that interaction being very uncomfortable with the guys lighting off fireworks, her and her friend leave and have a good rest of our night. Later on, the coworker who invited me texted me and asked me to apologize to her friend that we mom shamed. I don't really feel I owe her an apology for standing up for my friend who is just trying to keep kids safe. Am I the asshole?
Okay. Okay.
There's a lot to unpack here. That was all kind of one big block of text that I scrambled through, but
There's
holy
one
moly.
big mortar shot that got tipped over that we gotta figure out how to deal with.
Oh boy.
I'll go first. Having my fiance who is a mother, like when you read the title, I'm like, am I gonna get upset that someone was mom shaming? But I get that if the child is not being taken care of. Like in this instance, the kid is inside. Like I'm gonna say no, not the asshole. I was ready to be like, yep, for sure. But
So how dare you try and tell me how to pay?
it's like
Yeah. Mm.
it's like no, you're trying to protect as many kids as you can. You're not saying you can't go outside for the rest of the night. You're saying like, hey, I'm gonna go out where it's dangerous and get your mom because I don't want you getting hurt by the firework. But I'm an adult. It doesn't matter as much to me.
Yeah.
For and if that mother who was mom shamed is gonna start just making accusations like that, it's like, first of all, didn't you say it's like 9:30 at night?
Yeah.
You have an infant. That's
In your arms, know
that's a
your
big thing for
protection.
me. That's a big thing for me. It's like, put your kids to bed. Why are they staying up so late? I get it's the fourth, but if you have an infant, that
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 changes things.
upsets me. That upsets
That
me.
like
I
that
don't have an
changes
infant my own, but anyways, continue.
it's it's one of those situations, right? Where I get it. Parents don't like being told what to do. However, when you have a group of drunk idiots doing things like that, there is no accounting for what their dumbassery will lead to. And so safety, yeah, should be the top priority of the evening. And getting all the kids inside was good because obviously those idiots tipped it over and went inside. Going out to get the kid's mom to bring her in, that is good. You are not letting the child currently in your charge go back out into danger. After that, even though I disagree with the mom's choice, I'm gonna be like, hey, look, it's your kid, but just know that if he gets hurt by fireworks, I wanted to keep him inside. Like, I don't know what's going through your head right now, making like telling me that like,
Maybe the
oh,
substances that were going around.
I told your kid he can't go outside. That's not what I said. I told him to wait here while I go get you. This is I like I don't know. To me, it's one of the, like, why would you not want your child to be safe? I know what morons can do with fireworks. So yeah, no, you're definitely not mom shaming. You protected her child and then delivered him back to his mother. Like, I don't. It's
and
goofy.
then
The leap some people make to justify being angry. It's like, what are you mad at? That I pulled him away from an exploding piece of gunpowder? Is that what you're mad about? Because I don't understand your thought process. You definitely don't owe him an apology either.
and then to go for the coworker to go ahead and say you need to apologize for mom shaming this
Yeah.
lady. Like, it's none of your business.
Yeah, first of all,
I
I'd be like,
I know you're trying to defend your friend as well, but wouldn't wouldn't one of those two, there's a 50-50 shot, not really a 50-50 obviously, but wouldn't that lady be like, "Oh yeah, that's admirable, trying to save my friend's kid or whatever." But, you know, people,
I've learned my lesson that people like this can't be reasoned with.
yep.
Like, as as frustrating as it is to see, because you know you're correct. You are not the asshole in this situation. You didn't mom shame anybody. You protected a child from a bunch of morons. That is an honorable thing to do. That is a good thing to do. And some people just can't wrap their mind around that. They are so caught up in their world that to them, you how dare you tell my kid what to do? Really? Is that really what you like? And you can't please them. No matter how hard you try, no matter how hard you argue with them, you're never going to win them over with logic because they're not basing their decisions on logic, clearly. The child was almost getting hurt. You want him to go back outside? Mm. And so that's one of those moments where you just go like, hey, clearly it was the wrong crowd. I apologize. I won't be back. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You just move on. You just cut ties and move on with those people. They'll sort themselves out.
Okay. Should we move on to the next one?
Yeah. I think we
So-
beat that one in the ground enough.
So let's just do one each because they're taking a
They're
lot
getting
to-
they're getting long.
But I'll let you decide. I'll read the two titles and you decide because I had two picked out. Am I the asshole for refusing to continue paying for my sister's rent after she went on a trip without telling me? Which that one was pretty good. Where's the other one? I thought there was another really good one.
No, I opened all mine in
Oh,
duplicate tabs.
I lost the other one. I think it was about a parking spot, which
Oh yeah. It was
that one-
something about taking a parking spot, something petty. I wanted to hear that.
This one, just skimming through it, it looked pretty. Ooh.
All right.
Okay. So I don't know which ages these people are because it says my 28 sister 25. So I don't know who's older, but it's two sisters.
I think the my is supposed to be talking about the OP and the
Okay,
25, so
we'll
it's a
say
younger sister.
The older sister is helping the younger sister pay rent. So the younger sister went on a trip. We'll just say that. Whatever. My sister got laid off about 5 months ago. She's really struggling to find another job in her since as it's a really bad for her field. Oh my goodness. I tried to help the other one as much as I could grammar wise. I'll try to do my best. People are being laid off left and right, and her job is not in a good field, it sounds like. She's currently working as a waitress while she looks for a more permanent job, but isn't earning enough to cover her full rent. I have a pretty well-paying job, this is the older sister, and I share rent with my partner, so I offered to help her cover the rent while she looks for another job. She was extremely grateful, and together we agreed on an amount which would allow her to cover rent and also have some money left over for food, travel, etc. It's important to note that her monthly expenses for food, travel, bills, etc. were all provided by her. I didn't have any issues or suspect that anything was amiss. She hates working as a waitress, so I'm confident that she is doing everything in her power to find another job. The last time I saw her, she mentioned that she has picked up a few extra shifts recently so that she can afford to get our parents a nice anniversary gift. So I figured she was basically living paycheck to paycheck. Fast forward to now. And I've just received word from our cousin that my sister is in Paris. I don't know where these people are from, but I'm guessing they're from the States. And Paris is far away. Yeah.
Ooh.
When I expressed confusion, my cousin sent me a bunch of screenshots from my sister's Instagram. Why don't you follow your sister on Instagram? My sister must have blocked me and my parents on there, thank you for answering my question, because none of us could see any of her posts or stories. I was very confused, then angry, because if she is living paycheck to paycheck, how on earth can she afford to go on a trip to Europe? Oh, thank you for answering my other question. We live in Australia. Still, that's probably worse.
I feel like that's even. You immediately have to apply an Australian accent now for the rest of reading this. All right. Crikey. Just throw random crikeys in there.
Plane tickets typically cost upwards of 1,000 USD.
US dollars.
Yes. They have the dollar sign and not the whatever. And that's not accounting for food, hotels, or anything else. She called me and was basically in tears, begging me not to cut her off. She said that she is on the trip with her new boyfriend and that he is paying for everything. She insisted that she still needs the money to cover her rent and that she will have to move if I don't help her. I basically told her that it was her problem now and hung up, which I admit was childish of me, but I was still so mad. I don't know much about her new boyfriend, so maybe he is a millionaire or something, but the fact that she tried to hide it from me sets off alarm bells. I'll obviously have a proper discussion with her when she gets back, but for now, I'm going to block her number. Since then, she has reached out to some other family members who think I'm being too harsh and should give her the benefit of the doubt. They all seem to think I'm going to force her to be out on the streets. It's looking like this will be a whole fiasco when she gets back. I need an outside opinion. Also, there is an update that we can read after we discuss the top part, if we want.
Nice. Wow, there's a lot to unpack here.
There's a lot to unpack with all of these.
That, first of all, initial judgment, I'm going to say no. You are not the asshole. Because if you are contributing financially to someone that you believe to be living paycheck to paycheck, like, from this sister's point of view, her younger sister could not support herself. And then, poof, magically takes a trip to Paris
From
from
Australia.
Australia? No, 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 no. That doesn't just happen. And the phone call talking about, oh, I have a new boyfriend. That might technically be true, but there was still absolutely no reason to hide that, unless, of course, the younger sister doesn't want them to know about the boyfriend, which is very probably much the case. And now she's like, well, I'll spill the beans, but I'll still get to keep the money coming in. So that's what it sounds like to me. It definitely sounds like, oh, please don't cut me off from my money now. Like,
It's, it seems so odd. Like, why? If you're living together, I assume you're pretty close with your sibling. At least that's how it is for my sisters. They are extremely close, they're best friends. And I could not imagine having one of them be like, oh, yeah, I'll definitely help you out. I'll pay a little bit more of the rent to help out. And then the other one to just not respond and be like, yeah, I'm in Paris and I blocked you on everything so you don't know and you have to find out through our cousin because I forgot to block them.
yeah, that is like mm-mm.
There's steps.
I don't that there's never a scenario in which that ends well. I'm just gonna say that. There is never a scenario in which you hiding that information ends well, because what good is that gonna serve? Anyone who finds out you hid it from them is going to immediately be suspicious.
I I
Immediately.
I have one question though. Like if she's left for a week, how did the younger sister tell the older sister or however we determine this? She left for Paris. Like how did she explain that without saying like, "Hey, I'm going on vacation. You won't see me for a week." Where's that discussion?
True. Although, I guess, does the post ever specify that they live together? Or does it say they live apart or together at all? Because I mean, it's possible that her sister maybe has like a just like an apartment on the other side of town, and she doesn't see her often.
Okay, that makes so much more sense. Okay, yeah, it
That would be
that
it would be pretty wild. Just, hey, I'm not gonna
okay.
be home for a week. Where are you going? Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Just walk out the
It
door.
so she must have been just giving her money to help with her rent is all.
Which is
So,
arguably worse because
yeah,
now it's
it's
not
way
even a
worse.
living
I see
situation.
why she's so pissed.
You are trusting that the person you are giving these funds to is handling them responsibly.
I understand why she's so mad now. Yeah, I'd be really mad too. It's like all your money
I,
just went to Paris.
Also, I can't understand the family members that are arguing for that. Oh, you should give her the benefit of the doubt. Listen,
Uh,
she's my sister. Obviously, I want the best for her. However, you are not going to pull something over like this on me and expect me to just smile and go along with it. No, we are going to sit down and figure this out right now. Because if you got a magic millionaire boyfriend, cool. He can pay for your rent. I got my own bills. Like,
so I think we should see if we should give that sister the benefit of the doubt with the update. Update. Thanks for all the responses. I decided that at the very least I should let my sister explain herself, so I rang her again after I had calmed down. She said that the trip was a very last minute thing. That's a big last minute trip. That's a huge last minute.
you don't just decide to go to Paris on the drop of a hat. That's not something you want to go to Paris? Okay. No.
And that her boyfriend was already going to Europe and he offered to pay for her plane tickets so she could come along with him. She felt that it was too good of an offer to pass up. When I asked about other expenses, she told me that he was mostly paying for everything and she only had to contribute a small amount. When I asked her where she got the money for that, she got kind of defensive and said that she had saved some money while working as a waitress. And that it wasn't fair that I was judging her for just trying to have a break, and that's why she didn't tell me. Go to like a town 30 minutes away. Okay, we'll discuss this more. I did bring up that he could help her pay rent, but she said that they hadn't been dating for that long and she doesn't feel comfortable asking him. I have so many comments. I think he comes from quite a well-off family and she doesn't want to come across like a gold digger. I do get this. I think it would be weird to ask someone you hadn't known for that long. I do believe her for the most part, but I'm still pissed that she didn't tell me and that she clearly did have some money saved that she could have been used to contribute to rent. I'm also pretty convinced that the money she said would go towards a gift for our parents also got spent on the trip, which feels a bit scummy. Last paragraph. I did stand my ground about no longer paying her rent, but I did agree to discuss it again once she got back. However, I will definitely ask to see her bank statements, smart, before I give her a cent more. And if it turns out she has been scamming me, then not only will I not give her any more money, but I will make her pay back what I loaned her.
ooh.
That's a boss move. Okay.
All right.
Now we have a lot to unpack with that.
All right. That shed some new light on the situation. I'll admit I might have been hasty in my judgments. I do feel that that is a fair compromise because, as improbable as it is, there's always the one in a million. Truth is stranger than fiction, right? I'm not saying the sister's lying. I'm not saying she's telling the whole truth. It does seem suspicious that, oh, you won't ask him to pay rent, but you're comfortable enough to go to Paris with him when you don't really know him or what he's about. Kind of a dumb decision, right? Maybe you had some money saved up from the wages. All right, maybe you did. Still, scummy move not to tell about it, right? That adds suspicion to it. Hiding it adds suspicion to it. Any one of those things on their own, okay, maybe you could believe. But you put all three of them together, and it's like either you are the dumbest criminal in the world, or you are actually scamming me, and that's so I think that's fair to ask for the bank statement to be like, all right, look, if you got nothing to hide, then we're gonna go through this and we're gonna make sure you're telling the truth. If you were telling the truth, all right, my bad, that's on me. But if not, then we're gonna have words. And I still think she was correct to withhold the funds because I mean, at the end of the day, it's still her money, and she can make that decision just like the sister could have saved money for their parents' anniversary and then decide to spend it on the trip. Even though you might not like it, that is still her decision because it's her money.
I'm pretty much going to say the same thing as you for the most part. Um, One, I don't feel comfortable asking him to help me with my rent that I've been struggling with for, I don't know if it says how long. Scroll up quick. 5 months is when she got laid off. So about 5 months. Been struggling with that for 5 months. But you feel comfortable enough to go halfway across the globe with this person you just met that will pay for pretty much everything. But that,
But
like, literally, she could have gotten murdered in Paris, or maybe they got on a plane. They went to an airport. He lies about the airport, says, "Oh, we got to get on this next plane," and it takes him to some weird place.
takes him to
And
an island in the Pacific.
yeah, I have so many bad jokes, but I won't say them about islands. Anyways,
Yeah, they're scary, and volcanoes are terrifying.
yeah, that. But it's like, come on. Why would you? If I was in this situation, I would love to just, let's say my roommate said, "Hey, he can't afford rent this month. He's going on this big trip." Like if he just left and didn't pay me and didn't say anything, which is not something he would do. Like he's open about talking about stuff like that. But you are blood related and you can't say, "Hey, I met this new guy. We're going to go to Paris for a week and he's going to cover most of my expenses." I think if she said that, this wouldn't be here for those reasons. Probably for like, I'm scared that my sister is going to perish when I'm afraid my sister is going to perish when she goes to Paris. But
he's afraid of a parish in Paris. It's the parrot.
While wearing
Paris.
a parrot. But
oh,
yeah,
man.
this sister who's helping is not the a-hole. Like she's just trying to help her sister out, and it looks like she's getting taken advantage of. I respect her fully for saying, "We're going through bank statements. You're going to tell me where you've been spending your money, and if you can't do that, then the money's gone, and if you've been scamming me, the money's also gone." So
yeah, I'd say bottom line, if you're receiving that kind of financial aid from someone close to you, the least you can do as a courtesy is let them know, "Hey, I'm planning to do this thing. Here's my plan, XYZ." Because unfortunately, the burden of proof is on you. You're the one receiving the help. The least you can do is be courteous to the person who's given you that help.
yeah. So far, we're 3 for 3 with no a-holes.
No a-holes.
Maybe your last one will change our minds.
All right, so we have the buffet one that I told you about, or we have am I the asshole for telling my spouse he needs to see a doctor? Also a short one, only one paragraph.
I feel like I've heard the doctor one. That's just the same old song and dance to me. I've heard just people in my life about that. I want to hear the buffet one. The buffet one,
all right.
The way you were talking about it sounds very interesting and very niche.
So, am I the asshole for paying for my brother to go to a buffet, but not my sister? And so OP
Such an
says
America problem.
Right? that's part of the reason why I clicked on it. I was like, really? Buffets? This is what we're going for? All
And then you'll read it and it's like, "We live in Brazil." Anyways.
So OP talks about how his family took a trip to Las Vegas. And he says, when we go on trips, we'll do some stuff together, but they'll also go off on their own or in groups depending on their interests. All right, fair enough. My camera's crooked. Please stay up there. The tape that I have holding it up there is starting to let go. So his brother and OP are both 22 years old, and they decided beforehand that they wanted to go to the Bacchanal, I think that's pronounced Bacchanal buffet, which, if you don't know, is the biggest and best buffet in Las Vegas.
Okay, sweet.
No one else.
We're in it.
Yeah.
We're in the States.
In it to win it. And so no one else was interested because they thought it was too expensive for a single meal. $80 plus per person, which I have experienced this when I went out to Vegas to meet up with some of my buddies from the military. Them homies wanted to go to a buffet for breakfast, and yeah, it was like $70. It's insane. It's
That's
insane what the prices are
that's
in
gross.
Vegas. And so it says him and his brother were going, but it was just the two of them, and they were going to go have a great time, try all the food. Before the trip, his brother lost his job. His parents paid for a room, so he still came and was just going to go to do some free stuff or some low cost thing. And OP says that I still really wanted him to go to the buffet, but I didn't want to go alone, so he offered to pay for him. That's fair. My sister, 20, then decided she wanted to come with us and expected me to pay for her since I was paying for her brother. I didn't want to pay for her because she had no interest in going before. She said she was interested, just couldn't afford it before. The thing is, she eats really small portions, in parentheses, like child sized portions. I love this, such a guy thing to say, and is vegan. So I feel like paying for her to go would have been a waste of money since she wouldn't even eat the high priced food items. Paying triple for an expensive meal was just too much for me. Even double is a lot. He says, I'm not rich. But it was worth it to me to take my brother because he would actually enjoy the meal with me. My sister would have just taken a few bites and picked at things, though she insists she would have eaten more. Am I the asshole?
For me, I can explain, but for me, it's 4 for 4. These people are, I mean, 3.8. I'll go 3.8 out of 4,
3.8?
roughly. But I, I guess I gotta remind myself that the one brother lost his job. You're just trying to do something nice for your family member who's obviously struggling. If he lost, like if he quit his job, that would be different. If he lost it, like got laid off, then it's like, hey, buddy, you've been down, you lost your job. Let me help you out a bit. I want to enjoy this with you.
Yeah.
Especially if the sister was not interested, but then got interested as soon as she found out it was free. Granted, I would probably do the same thing. But if I was in that sister's shoes and thought I was gonna get a free $70 meal, one, I'm crazy. And two, like
Yeah.
I'd be disappointed that it wasn't getting paid for, but I mean I'd still go and be like, yeah, I'll stomach the bill.
Yeah. To enjoy the time with. I feel like that's one of those situations where, once again, if it's OP's money, then he gets to decide what to do with it. And if he so chooses to just spend him and his brother some time together at a buffet, then that's entirely his choice. I feel like in this situation it would have been more appropriate for the sister to ask if she could come along rather than just, "Oh, I'll go too as long as you're going to pay." And granted it doesn't say that that's what happened, but based on the way that he's wording this, I'm
It's probably that
guessing
way.
that's what it sounds like, is that she just piped up, "Oh, I'll go too as long as you're paying," which, okay, you can come, but maybe ask, that's definitely a lot of money, and it's not fair to just suddenly flop from a freaking $80 bill to a $240 bill all because you think you're going to get a free ride. And yeah, especially if the fact that you're a known small eater, like, you're really going to bust it out this one time for the buffet of a lifetime. Like, for that money, yeah, you better be trying everything in there.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm just saying, like, if I had to pay that much for a buffet, I would never pay that much for a buffet. But if I had to pay that much for a buffet,
Even
like,
though you paid $10 less for a buffet.
that was, we were with the group, and couldn't
But you
I
did it.
couldn't
But you did
we
it.
couldn't I did it. I was not happy that I did it, but I did it. I will say that they did have some pretty good food in that buffet. That was some pretty good breakfast. That was a pretty bomb breakfast for what it was. Not worth $70, but pretty good.
But
So yeah,
yeah,
I'm gonna say not the asshole.
I think that's fair.
Once again, your money, your choice, even if they don't like it.
the
Oh
thing
well.
that the thing that really brings me the two things is brother losing his job and the sister not being interested, and then, oh, free meal. Yeah, I'll go. Those are the two things that are big for me to say that that dude is not an asshole for saying, I'm not going to pay for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds
Well,
about right.
any more thoughts on anything we've covered?
I have no thoughts ever. Head empty all the time. That's usually how I get through my day, actually. Just nothing dinging around up there like a Windows screensaver. Every time it hits the corner perfectly, I get to have one intelligent thought.
One serotonin.
I get one serotonin every time it hits the corner. Ooh. That's why I get those random bursts of energy at like 10 p.m. at night. Just, I need to fix my entire life, and it's gone
I love that they do that at football games and stuff. Have that on the jumbotron.
Oh, yeah, to
Yes,
bounce it
you
around.
correct. You wanting to fix your life is what they have on the
I,
jumbotron.
yes, well, I was very, very confused. I was like, they have my desire to fix my life on the jumbotron.
Oh.
Instead of the kids cam, they have the midlife crisis cam. Like, and random people in the crowd. Oh,
Oh.
that would be
Anyways,
hilarious.
I think that about does it for us. Um, we're gonna skip quotes because we did a lot of reading for this episode, but we hope you
You had
enjoyed.
some word salad. Make up a quote out of all those words that we said.
If you guys want to see another one of these, because I thought that was kind of fun, leave a like, comment down below, and we can keep digging through Reddit for random stuff and talk about it. And thank you for BSing with us. If you want to become a bud, subscribe down below, and we will see you next time when we find the assholes of Reddit.
We'll find them. They're out there. They're out there. We'll find them. But until then, take her easy now.